gather around for our reading. All right, so welcome. Our first reader tonight is going to be John Blair. John has published 6 books, most recently Playful Song Called Beautiful, and is the recipient of literary awards including the Drue Heinz Literature Prize and the Iowa Poetry Prize. He directs the undergraduate creative writing program at Texas State University. Welcome.
I'm going to go with the something old, something new sort of strategy. Read a couple of short poems from Playful Song, and then one new poem that I wrote last week. And we'll see if they actually hang together. I'm not sure if they will. This first one is a sonnet, and it's called The Ghosts of Birds. They never quite alight on these bare nests of rat-chewed shells and bones they haunt. They come and go from crowded lines and in vagrant wisps of cabin, nerve, and endless horsefly hum. Above the patient evening streets gone black with flesh crusted thin as every last regret. Their hollow bones leak zippered trails of smoke across a brutal neon sky, and yet they linger, holy ghost and salted tales and children's nameless dreams of God's intent to make his bread and angels out of their pale and smallish souls spun through his firmament, and back again like ghosts of birds that fly as feathered light inside their sleeping eyes. One more.
John.
Yeah.
Microphone.
Is that better, Steve?
Yeah. Years.
Yeah, I know, you're getting old. Me too. This one's called How to Know Two, as in the number 2. And it has an epigraph by Sir Arthur Stanley Eddington, renowned mathematician. We used to think that if we knew 1, we knew 2, because 1 and 1 are 2. We are finding out that we must learn a great deal more about and. That's what he had to say about it. Look around, brother. There is no stranger who is stranger than you, no familiar who's more familiar. The cup is the whole as much as the clay, the held as much as the holding. Your hands, they hum like a spear of brass, teeth buzzing against your sweet contingencies. Tone against silence, heart against tone, hymn spun and holy in the split-tongued garden of our blue undecideds. Wherever there is sky, there is something rising, something falling. That's all the comfort you need, all the comfort you get. And one more. This is the new one. I'm going to preface this one just a little bit. A couple of years ago, my son and I visited the Trinity site in New Mexico, which you may or may not know is where the world's first atomic bomb was exploded. You can visit the Trinity site. They open it to the public for 12 hours a year. 6 hours in the spring and 6 hours in the fall. You can go and walk around, and my son and I walked around, and there's still green chunks. I've got one here, green chunks of trinitite. The only place in the world where trinitite is found is in that site, because what trinitite is the green glass that was produced by the blast. You're not allowed to gather this stuff anymore, but tons of it were gathered back before they made that a rule, so you can still buy it at rock shops and such. That's my trinitite, and it is radioactive, just mildly. You wouldn't want to sleep with it. This is called Big Bertha. I've been writing a number of poems. I'm working on a book that kind of centers around the idea of the atomic age and the Manhattan Project and what went on at Los Alamos, New Mexico. This is called Big Bertha. And it's about the drum that they use at UT games. If you've ever seen at halftime before the UT band goes out, they got that 8-foot giant drum they run across on wheels and pound on and all that. Well, Big Bertha, it turns out, has a hell of a history. It was actually constructed in 1928 in Chicago for the University of Chicago. Go Crimsons. And the University of Chicago more or less got rid of their football program, and Big Bertha got stored in these underneath the stands at the football field, Stagg Field, which in 1941 became where Enrico Fermi built the first nuclear reactor for the Manhattan Project. And so this drum literally sat in the room next to the squash court where Enrico Fermi built the pile. And it sat there for 15 more years after that, covered in radioactive dust. And then a Texas oil man bought it from the University of Texas, had it decontaminated, and that's the drum you see. This is about that drum. Seemed like a long ways to go for that. There it is. It's called Big Bertha, and it starts with a quotation as well. This one from Walt Whitman's "From Palmatic Starting, I Fly Like a Bird." And the quote is, "To Texas, to sing first, to the tap of the war drum if need be, the idea of all." In Chicago, they had the biggest drum, oh, the biggest drum, the biggest goddamn drum. 8 feet of the round sound of pound wood and steel and the broadest raw steer hides the Chicago stockyards could slaughter up to make a thump so low in its frequencies that faraway mountains might just sing it moaning back like wails. Passions do not come slowly. They bound, they pounce, they drum on the skins of animals peeled like apples in one unbroken piece. And for years, Mud City cheered, still windy with cow fire at every football game. I'm going to try to get this part right. This is actually one of the cheers the Crimsons used to use when they had a football team. Demosthenes, Thucydides, the Peloponnesian War, X squared, Y squared, H2SO4, who for, what are we going to yell for, go Maroons. Until it stopped. In the name of physics and of the fields, open and grassy and unmown, of the mind. And the drum was put away, stored beneath the bleachers of the west stand of Stagg Field, next to an abandoned squash court, in which a secret would be made. 2nd of December, 1942, 45,000 ultra-pure graphite blocks, 5.4 short tons of uranium, 45 short tons of uranium oxide powder, all in a pile. Enrico Fermi's first atomic reactor, glorious black layer cake of chain-firing neutrons and gritty bricks of pencil lead. And the motionless thundering drum sat in its ticklish coat of radioactive dust for 13 more dreamless years, until an oil tycoon from Texas bought it for $1, a single American greenback dollar, and brought it hot and ticking back home, where even now it leads the Longhorn Band onto the lone-starred fields of battle. The eyes of Texas are upon you all the livelong day. The eyes of Texas are upon you. You cannot get away. Well, it struck me as particularly aggressive, sort of fight song, but there you go. War song, heart-skin drum yawp. Impassioned, the crowd rising to its feet in exponential fevers of team love, home love, self-love. The stadium thumping back the pure photonic heart of the floodlights as waves of power and joy and zealous, terrifying anthems of light break above the field, open and grassy and swarmed like the plain of Marathon with heroes, beaten in drum fire to shake the fragile idea of all for 10,000 burning years. And that's all. Thank you.